So what we want to do with the conspiracy theories about proposed vaccines for COVID-19 is to be typing in the chat box generative questions that you can engage others in a conversation worth having about deepening your understanding, connecting with the other person, and trying to better understand what are their concerns. So you can go over to the text box and type in your questions.
Well, we have lots of great issues coming up.
Good. What don't I know about this person's perspective? What are you hearing? Both two questions. What are you hearing about the vaccine's purpose and possibilities? Nice. How have we seen vaccines help community health in the past?
So I love the question that says, tell me more about what your concerns are about vaccines, because that has the potential to generate much deeper understanding before you start to advocate or shift towards something else.
Somebody found the heart. You can put a heart by a question you love instead of typing it again. I like that one. What other possibilities besides vaccines might be out there? And what you're seeing is by some of the questions you're asking is you're deepening your understanding as well as looking for possibilities.
All right, let's save this one, and shall we,
Save.
That's another one also. How can you feel safe with the potential vaccine? Whoever's question this was, conspiracy theories about proposed vaccines. How do these answers set with you? Does this feel like you give some, does it give you an idea about how to start a conversation?
Yes, it does.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Diana. Is that
Thank
Diana?
you.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Thank you all.
Okay.
Great. All right. So I'm going to clear this and I've saved it. And we're going to take up a new issue now. Closing out the school year with pass-fail versus grading while providing fair and accurate feedback about learning goals and standards as they really prepare for the future. Yes, that's a very timely question. So if you can start to think of generative questions to deal with that issue, the concern of pass-fail versus grading. Yeah, sometimes if you access, you may put a question on top of a question. Great. So the person in purple, if you move it. Wow, look at all the questions that just popped up.
So whoever asked this question, it would be wonderful if you would kind of look at the questions that are popping up, and as you look at all of them, what are some places that you might start, and what feels like it would be most valuable given where you are?
I'm just providing some feedback, great discussion points. Again, I'm a teacher, CTE teacher, so I'm trying to gather information for my entire school. So it's a great place to start. I want to facilitate some type of discussion with them. So thank you.
Great.
You're welcome. Just as an aside here, I'm 3 days a week, have the joy of being able to have my grandson over here because his parents are both working from home. And one of my questions that I keep asking is, what's the end result that the teacher's looking for? What are we working towards together now that it's parents and grandparents and kids trying to achieve some end? If we all knew where we were going, we might be able to actually support the teacher's capacity to get us there. This is such a perfect opportunity to engage parents in a way that you couldn't engage them when kids were in school every day, except for those who do not have internet access, etc., which is a huge problem. But
Great. So for the person who asked this question or this issue in the questions, are they helping you?
Yes, thank you.
All right, I'm going to save this one. Okay. All right, I'm going to clear this board out. I've got that saved. All right, next issue, Sherry.
okay, somehow I lost my screen.
Okay, I got the chat board. Let's see, we've done that. Okay, I'm going to put in this question by Michael. Can you see that? Did I get that right, Michael? My positive frame in need of generative questions. Our child welfare system is able to keep children safe from abuse and neglect during this time of social distancing.
Yes, you have it correct.
All right. Questions away. What possible questions can we help Michael out with?
And for folks maybe not familiar with the book and the work, what I've done is I've taken the problem that we've identified in child welfare and I've given it the positive opposite. So we have a lot of concerns about not being able to do this. My positive frame for it is that we are. And so I'm curious about some questions that might help to flesh that out, if you will.
Jackie, if you wouldn't mind sharing some of the I still have lost my screen. I would love to
Oh,
hear
that's
some of
okay.
the questions that are
Yes.
coming up.
What data have you surfaced thus far? How can we support you, the family? 2 questions around technology. What role could technology play in helping to do this? How have we been able to use technology during times of social distancing? What are some ways that similar organizations in other countries, I love this one, have been successful? Learning from other countries. How might we go into the families while physical distancing, keeping them feeling safe? How might we encourage the children through physical check-ins? For those of you just joining us, if you go to the top of your screen on Zoom, you'll have something called View, and go down to your options. The third option is Annotate, and then it'll put a bar up across the screen for you. And you'll want to go to Format, pick your favorite color, width, and we ask you to use 12 or 14 font. And then you can move over and click on Text, and it'll insert a box, and you can put your question out there. And then after you type, you have to click outside your box. And Sherry is typically watching the chat, so if you're struggling with the annotated board, we will go in there and find your questions and put them there for you. Does that help everybody who's just joined us? All right, great. Okay, these are lots of wonderful questions. Michael, are these questions helping you? They're still popping up.
Yes, thank you very much. Very, very helpful.
And someone said, what protocols do we have in place to help identify or address potential situations, or what protocols are we going to have to create? I love this one. Who is in a position to serve as eyes and ears? Okay, I'm going to save this. And you can also save these as well as if you look in your toolbar, and it'll go to a Zoom folder on your computer, but we will also send these out to you. So I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to put in, we've got time at least for one more issue. So I'm going to clear this one. And the next one is mental health issues are on the rise with school closed. Mental health issues are on the rise with schools closed. It's very, yeah, you see that all over the media. And wow, what kind of questions can we address about the mental health issues? Whoever typed this question, can you give us a little more context?
Sorry, I was in Annotate and I couldn't find the mute. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I just keep hearing barriers, like everybody describing all the different issues coming with schools being closed. And so this was just a quick one that popped into my head this morning when you asked that question, that with schools being closed, there's mental health issues, abuse, domestic abuse, just a lot of, I guess, descriptions. And I see it on the news a lot too, that all the different barriers with schools being closed.
How can parents and teachers and others help in these situations? Well, there's lots of questions popping up. What partnerships might exist to support access to mental health? What kind of resources can we provide? This is interesting. How do we get out? How do we get help out into the communities to understand what is going on in the homes? What activities can we program for summer to help? What are creative ways we can support social connections right now while physical distancing? Oh, very good one. What mental wellness programs could be added to tech tools already being used by parents, teachers, and students? And somebody talked about the Calm app added to a learning management system. How do we use social media to help address this matters? Who could teach us how to read underlying anxiety in a picture on Zoom? What are some healthy habits? I got to move your faces over. We might encourage. That's true. Getting out what to do. Possibilities. I just found out that I can actually move my toolbar. How can we use technology to help us address this situation? Which communities? Which communities? Some of you found the little heart thing and you're putting hearts by questions that you like that really resonate. Someone just, there's a star. What are other prevention strategies?
These are excellent. Thank you so much.
Okay,
I work with students with autism who tend to have high comorbidity of mental health issues. So outside of COVID, these are fantastic questions for me.
Okay, and again, you can hit save, but I'm hitting save, and we will make sure we get these out to those who are not hitting saved.
And whoever just was on about saying the kids you work with, you might find it valuable. We are hosting a conversation tomorrow and Wednesday with a professor from Denmark who will be talking about invitation and listening or positioning with kids, especially with challenging needs, behavioral issues. And he's got some pretty remarkable ways of engaging with students that would allow more to come forward from those students than we expect or even think is possible. That's also being offered through the Center for Appreciative Inquiry. So we'd love to have you join us.
And so I'm out of the whiteboard looking at those of you in the Zoom frame. And I just want to point out there was a question by Terry on transition to virtual learning. And we've got like 30 seconds left. And we're doing this with our students at my university. And we're asking them, tell us what worked well. Tell us, how can we get better at virtual learning? And just tell us what else is possible, what aren't we thinking? And those are 3 questions that we're going to have a town hall meeting with our students to learn what went well, what else would they like to see, and what could we do more of.
I'd also like to let everybody know that after the last session last week, we sent out the link to the video plus the chat with all of the generative questions and the whiteboard comments in them. And I know some people did not receive them, and I received some bounce backs. So If you did not receive it and you want to make sure you do get it, I'm not sure why that happened. I'm going to try again this week to send all of that out. But if you don't get it, it's because something's happening and your system is bouncing it out or not accepting it. So just send either me or Jackie an email with whatever email address you'd like us to send it to. And it's, I'll put it in the chat box. It's Sherry@conversationsworthhaving.today or Jackie@conversationsworthhaving.
There you go. All right, well, it's 12:31. That was a quick 30-minute break. I want to thank all of those that have been joining us. You can just see your comfort level with generative questions and the issues coming up. And will you be back on Memorial Day? We were trying to decide if we're going to show up at noon on Memorial Day. Are you taking a break?
Yes.
Yes, you're taking a break, or yes, you'll show
No,
us.
yes, I will be back.
Okay, then
Okay.
we will be here from noon to 12:30. We just need one person, and now we're both going to be here. So
I'll be back.
Wonderful.
yeah, so we'll be back on Monday for a half hour.
It's
Thank
all
you, everyone.
holidays
Thank you
now.
all.
Have a
Bye.
great week, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Same to you.
all as
Thank you.
well.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.